7:30.
75, I took pictures, I forgot the
Good
73.
evening, everyone. Welcome to the town board meeting of November 2nd, 2023. So let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance and the silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right, first on the agenda tonight is a public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 preliminary budget. Desiree, could you read the public hearing notice?
Public hearing is being held to entertain public comments on the 2024 preliminary budget. The public's notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on October 26, 2023, with the salaries of the elected officials posted as follows. Town supervisor, $35,000, town clerk, $76,600, justices, 43,600 each, council, 11,570 each, tax collector, 20,700.
Okay, with that said, does anyone have any comments they would like to make? Lorelei, go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry.
So,
Line is microphone.
Yes.
She needs a microphone.
Use mine for now. Just good? Slow it down. Hold the button till your red light comes on. There you go. You're good.
the following changes have been made to the fiscal year 2024 preliminary budget after posting. Increase account A 1010.404 grant writer by 18,000. Increase A 1001 tax levy by 18,000. That is for the A fund.
Okay, that's it, thank you. All right, and anyone else, any comments they'd like to make?
It's open to the public.
It's open. Yes, it is.
Good evening, Maria Hunter. I was gonna ask about the line A 1010.404. I see that it's being added back into the budget. Just a question, was our town engineer not able to do anything? Because that was discussed at Monday night's meeting, that we were gonna reach out to the town engineer, or is that being added back into the budget, the 18,000?
Yes, it's being added back in. I did speak with the engineer. He does have that capability with a fee attached to it. So with that being said, and with the board's response to me, when I approached it to them, it was decided that we would put it back in and maintain the grant writer that we share with the village. So that would be 36,000, so it would be 18 and 18. 18 for the town, 18 for the village.
Okay, in regards to that, I'm not sure, but when Mr. Palermo was supervisor, his secretary, Mrs. Rivera, she had gone to school to be a grant person for the town. I don't know what her status is still for that. I know she does get the emails if there are any grants that are available to the town to use. Why are we not using her if we pay for her to go to school? It's just a thought, because I thought the suggestion was great that, town clerk made about using possible engineer funds and switching over. And, if we have a person who's already a town employee who can get these grants via email, can see if any of them apply to town projects, not village projects, which would be water, sewer, and items like that. Why are we not using her? I don't understand this.
Can I just jump in here for a minute? So, as you know, we're splitting the bill with the village.
I
The
understand
village was
that.
gonna, I just wanna make sure it's clear to everybody watching at home and here. The grant writer is $36,000, that's it. So instead of taking on additional costs, because the village, and we all pay village taxes, we all pay town taxes, we all pay taxes, the village was already paying that. So one way or the other, you're gonna pay $36,000 altogether. So instead of taking on additional unnecessary costs to Mr. and Mrs. Taxpayer, we as a board decided to say, it's split it with the village. We don't need another employee.
We
It's,
don't have another employee, she was trained before your time and before most of the members on this board. That's my concern. Why did we have the expense of training someone, sending her to school, and not using her capabilities in the grants? But I don't need to get into debate with that. But now my next question is, I'm not sure how many years we've been splitting the costs with the village. I don't know if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, how many years have we been splitting that with them? And if that's the case, how much of the $18,000 per year have we received back in grants from this grant writer? That's what I'm concerned about, and I understand about saving money for the taxpayers. But if we're not getting our due, our fair share of grants from this grant writer that we're paying for, and I understand it all comes from the same pool of taxpayers, we're all the same pool, whether it's 18 here or 36 there, I get it, I'm not stupid, I understand the budget. But my concern is, how much have we gotten back in return for our 18,000, whether it was 1 year, 2 year, 3 years? Have we gotten anything worthwhile that covers the cost of this $18,000 grant that we're paying for? That's just my concern. I'm gonna
Maria,
go
before
on.
you say anything, if memory serves me correctly, the previous supervisor, Frank Palermo, did not want to partner with the village for the grant writer for that purpose. He believed that more or less the majority of the grants would be for the village side, for what their needs would have been. And it would have been very, minimal on the town side. So when I was elected town supervisor, one of the first things that were done was that we said, hey, let's partner with the village and share the grant writer. And that was done for the fiscal year for 2022 and 2023 this year.
We got the senior citizens tours, wasn't that a grant that they wrote?
No,
That's Orange County.
no, that was Orange County.
That's
We
Orange
got
County.
We got the
That was
like-
$125,000.
That's the Orange County grant that you applied for.
Because someone still had a right.
Of course,
Yes.
but that's where, if we had someone in-house, they could have helped do it. But we probably went with Mr. Fusco at the time, who was the engineer, because he probably wrote up the grant. Who was a town
Correct.
engineer.
Yes,
That's what I'm trying to point out here.
yes.
But I don't see where we're getting our bang for the buck with that engineer. Excuse me, not the engineer, with the sharing of the costs, but so be it. And,
Maria, even if,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if it's gonna come out of, like you said and Brandon said, the taxpayer's pocket, which is the same pool of money, even if we don't get anything in one fiscal year, we have the opportunity to. If the village took it, you still pay for it, and we have no opportunity to.
I hear what you're saying, but I just don't see why this grant writer has to cost that much money when it could be done differently. On another issue, I know it wasn't put into the budget, but a gatehouse roof was mentioned of $200K estimate, that's not in the budget, correct?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because I want to be clear on this with the gatehouse. When Bob Till was the supervisor, when the gatehouse was going to go back to West Point, the Proctor gatehouse was supposed to go back. Mike Greenrod, Robin Kraus, and myself were on the committee to save that great gatehouse and not to go back. I have to do some more research with Leslie Rose, because I'm not mistaken, that gatehouse, we're not supposed to use taxpayer dollars to renovate it. That's why in years past, the former chairperson had, you bought bricks, they sold ornaments, and they raised funds after the initial work was done in that building. And that being said, when I was on that committee, when it first started, we went to businesses, not taxpayer dollars, to fix that building up, to where it is today. I have to do some more research, which I'll get back to you, but I just wanna make sure it's clear it's not in this 2024 budget.
So Maria, I went on the website for the Historical Society, Woodbury Historical Society, and there is some comments that were made in that, when you look through the history of the Historical Society. And one of the things that I read was that for the gatehouse itself, it's, like you just said, the monies are supposed to be from donations, not from taxpayer funds. I hear,
alright,
yeah,
thank
I did read and see that. I just want you to know that, Leslie Rose, when we did the preliminary budget, when they submitted their budget, we did reach out to her, I did reach out and ask her if there was any additions to the budget for the Historical Society. Looking to see if, like you said, I had heard that there was a $250,000 roof project that they were looking to do, and it wasn't submitted, and she said that she was submitting it as she had submitted it, that it wasn't going to be part of the budget.
That's someone else's mic, not mine. Alright, but thank you for looking into that,
Yeah.
cause I had reached out to Robin Kraus recently, and, she only responded to me, to reach out to Leslie Rose to do more formal research on that, because let me put this back on. Because I know it was quite clearly stated by Mr. Cornell at the time, and I forgot who actually owned the property at the time, and he was quite adamant that no tax dollars would be used to fix that building up. And that's what we went with. So I will do some more research, as Robin suggested, and as you said, but thank you for your
Well,
time.
I will, because I met with some of the Amicus, and he was approached by members of the Historical Society board, and so there is some discussion about that. Thank you.
As long as I know it's not in that budget, thank you.
Anyone else in the public?
That's okay, I can do it.
Okay. All right, can I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
Second.
Okay, any discussion here?
That's okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone? Aye? Okay, motion carries. All right, Desiree, you have a roll call?
To close the public hearing, you don't even.
No, to close, I'm sorry, can I have a motion for the budget? Oh, can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion to accept the budget, adopt the budget as it is.
That was, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Fran,
I didn't go with that, I haven't gotten it all yet.
Now would you like to do
Yes.
a roll call?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Councilmember Calori.
Aye.
Councilmember Calori.
Aye.
Councilmember Finnegan.
Aye.
Councilmember Luciano. Aye. Councilmember Ansel.
Aye.
Supervisor Burke.
Aye. All right. Moving on now to public comment on agenda items. Does anyone from the public have a comment they would like to make on the agenda items? Okay, here we go.
In looking at the abstract before the board tonight, I was just wondering if someone can explain to me L 7410.410 for $1,760. It's being paid to Butler Roland Mays Architect. That is the library budget for, I'm just curious, why would the library be taking money for an architect when we own a building already? We own the library senior building, why are we paying, or is this money gonna come out of their fund balance if it's for Central Valley? I was just curious with that, why is it coming out of the general fund?
Does anybody have
Coming out of their budget, isn't it?
What is it quoted to?
7410, 410,
L, not A.
L,
No.
it's
So
L,
it's the library fund, not the general fund.
it's, excuse me, wrong, yeah, it's the library fund.
Sorry, when you said general fund, I was like, wait, what?
No, my mistake, sorry about that, it's coming out of their line budget, but is it actually if it's for Central Valley, does this line item take from their fund balance that they have that's over 600,000. Why are we funding and paying for a building we do not own? I'm gonna harp on this, because nothing has been decided, but you have until December 31st in which way you're going to go in support of Highland Mills or Center Valley or both. So that was one of my questions on the line item. And then there's another line item which I don't understand. L7410.464 for $5,113. It says IT support for Center Valley and Highland Mills, quarterly. So you're telling me that between Highland Mills and Center Valley, we pay $20,000 plus for IT services through RCLS? That's insane and then it's for this year. We said until December 31st, we would support Central Valley. No decision has been made by anybody, this board or the library board of directors, what their plans are for 2024 for Central Valley. So, is that gonna continue again for next year with $21,000, excuse me? And what's the architect's fee? I know you probably can't answer that tonight, but it's in your budget to sign, your abstract to sign. And there's other support fees here for RCLS for $1,900 coming out of .464. It's just seemed all of a sudden there's a huge amount of invoices from the library that we don't know whether it's for Highland Mills owned building or for a non-owned building. And going forward, what's this gonna do for 2024?
When they were here for their budget meeting, they said that most of their bills were coming out at the end of the year. So those could be bills for all year that are coming out at the end of the year.
Which I understand till the end of the year, we said, yes. But going forward with your 2024 budget that you all voted on just now, with them putting $195,000 from their fund balance into the budget to cover their increase to $800,000, it's wonderful. I thank them for doing that. But when is this board gonna take a hard look at the library board of directors and say, hey, yes, we're gonna continue in Center Valley, or we're gonna cut you off? When are we going to stop doing that? As a resident, I'd like to know, because it is my tax dollars being put away in a $600,000 fund, which all of us have been contributing because any money that's left over doesn't go into the general fund, it goes into the library fund balance. Did I use the right word that time, Desiree?
I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I'm using the right words, because to be responsible to all residents of Woodbury, when they put their budget together, it's always over, they get to keep it. Everyone else's budget gets over, it goes to the general fund. Did I use the right word? So I'm just curious as to, these are 2020.
I was just making sure you said it right.
I just wanna make sure I have the right words, because I don't wanna be used against me in social media. But this is 2024, I get it. But these fees are, you need to take a hard look at these fees that RCLS is charging the library in Woodbury. So those are my concerns with that,
So
with the
Maria,
budget.
so the budget mods, every 2 weeks, the budget mods, like you know, are read. I asked Desiree to read the budget mods. Since I've been the supervisor, I try to explain after the budget mods are read, what they are, for what they were for. I give a brief synopsis.
Yeah, I know
of
you're
what
doing this.
they're for, right?
Grateful.
And does anybody know what the budget mod was for the library
Tonight there's one.
tonight? Yeah, I know, but you know what it's in reference to and what it's for. Does anybody on the board know what it's for?
I got it, nope, you just said, whatever the description is.
I can tell you, it's 10,000, no, they're asking for a budget mod tonight for $10,000 from their personnel line to go into the legal line. $10,000. That's a lot of money to take out of personnel. But that's what the budget mod, that's for legal. It has none of these fees, none of the codes I read you, the line items are not legal.
So does anybody have an explanation as to why they were doing that? Does anyone tell?
Does that have anything to do with that architect that you're talking about?
I didn't hear anything, because the explanation I have for it is they presented no explanations.
It's been pretty clear that we have no control over how they spend their money. It's been reiterated to us numerous times that that's their budget, and they have control over it.
I don't think that was the question, I think
But- but yeah,
everybody,
no, but I
when a
mean-
budget, when a department head puts in for a budget mod, they give an explanation as,
Yes.
that's all, that was the
Yeah.
question, so I just was asking if anybody had heard, because they did not give an explanation. Maybe they get to someone here on the board and they could
No.
elaborate for us,
I
okay?
don't think it was
Alright,
in
so
their
I-
minutes either.
Well, I'm sure someone somewhere will probably reach out via social media to let me know what the $1,700 is for, but I thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, move on to administrative business. Can I have a motion and a second to accept receive the minutes from the meeting held on October 2023?
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carried. Approval of abstract, abstract 22.
Abstract 22 contains vouchers 231914 through 231983 and totals $576,386.10.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to approve the abstract as read?
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is that an aye for everyone?
Yeah.
You have an aye for everyone, okay? Thank you, motion carries. All right, approval of the budget mods. Desiree, could you read the budget modifications for this evening?
I can. Buildings and grounds, increasing A 1620.462 repairs and materials by $5,000, decreasing A 1620 points, there's no points there. Hang on a second, point got disappeared. I'm sorry, I've been busy. I have it, thank you very much, yes, I just, .462, nope, that was the other one. My .435 salts by $5,000. Next is for Dial-A-Bus by increasing A 5540.400 Dial-A-Bus by $3,900 and decreasing A 1950.400 taxes on town property by $3,900. Town board meetings increasing A 1010.452 audio video equipment video audio meetings by $355, decreasing A 1010.415 special prosecutor by $355. Town board increasing A 1010.405 legislative grant advertising signage by $4,999 and decreasing A 2320. Economic assistance to other governments by $4,999. I am apparently not good at tonight. I apologize in advance.
That's all right.
There's a lot going on in my head.
Maria said that.
Maria did say that. Library, increasing L 7410.407 legal by $10,000 and decreasing L 7410.100 personnel services by $10,000. Buildings and grounds, increasing A 1620.421 John P. Burke Memorial Pool Maintenance and Repairs by $34,689, decreasing A 9060.800 health insurance by $25,000 and A 9060.801 HRA and VP by $9,689. Animal control, increasing A 3510.406 cleaning supplies by $300, A 3510.200 control of animals equipment by $400, and decreasing A 3510.453 vehicle gas, oil, and repairs by $700. Engineering, increasing A 1440.400 engineering by $5,500, and increasing A 599 appropriated fire balance by $5,000. Again, I apologize for missing most of that.
No problem. The modifications for the buildings and grounds is proactive in adding money into materials and repairs with only 2.5 months left in the year. For the Dial-A-Bus, in the supervisor's office, Laura Morrissey advised that the remaining appropriation for Dial-A-Bus is insufficient due to the fourth quarter bill, which will be more than the first 6 months due to increased ridership, which I'm glad to hear that. And in the town board meetings, the appropriation is insufficient to cover year-end needs. And also for the town board, this modification will record the grant the grant the town received and provide the appropriation to pay all the Chamber of Commerce bills for the tourism signage. Again, the library, no explanation. Buildings and grounds, a drainage system needs to be installed at the John P. Burke Pool due to the wet summer season and attendance at the pool, the ground, and diving boards and outer perimeter did not drain well, resulting in muddy ground. Animal control, the increase in equipment includes replacing the broken sink. Engineering, the remaining appropriation is not adequate since we will have 3 more months of invoices, and, that's for that. That's all the explanations I have, so can I have a motion and a second to approve the modifications as read and explained?
Make the motion.
Can I ask a question? On the $34,689 for the drainage for the pool, did we do that in the spring, or did that not get done?
All they did was the concrete work.
Excuse me, Joe, could you
Oh,
please,
sorry.
come on, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
Just so everybody can hear. Thank you.
All they did was the concrete work, because we didn't want to, you would have to dig out, and we didn't know if they would seed in time, and we would get, enough grass, so it would turn to mud again. So they're coming back, as soon as they ordered two valves, and they'll finish up before the end of the season. That's what that is. So all they did was the concrete first, and that's what it was.
Because I thought we did a budget mod for that.
I know, because we didn't get it, we just got a bill, just now,
Okay.
so,
So is there any drainage there, or just not adequate drainage?
just not adequate. I mean, anybody that's been there, you see what happened behind the diving board, so we're just trying to be proactive.
What are they doing to correct it? Putting a drainage pipe over to the?
Get the drainage pipe, to the right, where the, handicap accessible thing is, right there, they're gonna drain there. It's gonna go underneath the slab, drain all the way around into the surge tank. And, yes, and they're gonna come from behind the slide, same thing. So all of that's gonna have new drainage. So
Oh,
this
all-
way,
not just the diving board?
no, sir, no, all the way around, all the way around. Okay?
Take that bird with
Halloween goes.
Yeah,
Maybe not those in this building. It's gotta be someone on the board table. It's the wireless, because there's.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is that everyone? Okay, it's everyone.
We didn't have a second, we only had.
Oh, I'll second. Okay, so everyone said. Okay, old business. Tonight, new business. Request to allow town of Highlands Dial-A-Bus to make stops in Woodbury. The town received an email on 10/26, advising there's a great demand to make stops in Woodbury, specifically Woodbury Center. They would like to incorporate these steps into their Saturday trips with their 12-passenger bus. This would start on November 4th. I need a motion and a second to allow the town of Highlands to make stops in the Woodbury Center.
Mr. Supervisor, I did take a look at this, and I spoke to the person who was listed on the email. It's unusual, really all they're doing is dropping people off at places. And since we don't have jurisdiction over the roads, it's not for hire transportation. I understand they're probably just letting the town know that they're gonna do this. The town doesn't really need to authorize it, because the town couldn't stop it anyway. But you can acknowledge their request, maybe say that we don't have any objection. And I would suggest, and I asked the woman that I spoke to if she had made the same request in the village, and she said she hadn't. I didn't wanna tell her what to do. But, I mean, you can acknowledge receipt of it, say you don't have an objection, and maybe someone should advise that they should reach out to the village of Woodbury as well, and just, let the village, give the village the same courtesy they're giving to the town. So as far as the motion, you're not really authorizing it or approving it. I guess you really have no objection if anything.
Okay, so then we'll just, so we'll table that and we'll just give them.
No, you don't have to say,
No, we
Just
actually
allow
can
it.
acknowledge it.
We just acknowledge them.
Okay.
think, Joe, I don't know if the woman spoke to you, I think you've had a brief conversation with her, I think the understanding I had was that they were going to Newburgh and they were going to other areas, and they were like, you know what, I think it doesn't really, it wasn't the individuals that would take the bus from the Highland area really wasn't interested in the location, they were more just interested,
Correct.
and they were giving us like
A
seeing if
courtesy.
it was a big courtesy.
Yeah, they're letting the board know as a courtesy,
That's all, yeah.
and I think you could just authorize the clerk or someone just to write back and say, we acknowledge receipt, we have no objection.
Okay, great. Next is the lead agency notification for Village of Kairos Joel Planning Board, 264 Forest Road. The town received notification on October 24th, 2023 of the Village of Kairos Joel Planning Board declaring themselves as lead agency under secret for their project 264 Forest Avenue. This project is constructing 11 multifamily buildings, approximately 184 residential dwelling units on 6.48 acres of land on the east side of Forest Road in the intersection with and north of Acres Road in the Village of Kairos Joel, town of Palm Tree. This project will be served by municipal water and sewer services. I need a motion and a second to give consent to the Village of Kairos Joel Planning Board to serve as lead agency in the application of the 264 Forest Road project, and request that the town board continue to be notified on filings and hearings in this matter.
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll second. Any discussion? Okay, so this is just to keep us notified. All in favor? Okay, motion carried, all in favor. The next is to authorize myself, the supervisor, to sign the Bridge New York grant documents. I need a motion second to authorize yourself to sign documents related to the Bridge New York grant for Ridge Road.
I'll second.
Joe wanna say anything on this?
Well, I did, just so the board is aware, I did review the documents we received from New York State DOT. I spoke with the engineer this afternoon, who's been involved in preparation of most of the documents. Anyway, he has no objection, I reviewed it, I have no legal objection. The supervisor can go ahead and sign.
You have the motion in a second?
Great.
Any discussion? Anybody have any on the board?
Have you heard anything about the money?
Not yet, the engineer will notify us as soon as, it should be, hopefully shortly. Anything else? Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, I heard aye from everyone. Okay, so now we move on to public comment. Anyone in public comment? Start with the second row.
Jim Ing, Highland Mills. So, last meeting before Election Day, so I'm guessing a lot of things could be different by the next meeting. We'll see. I'm gonna ask this board, have you guys come into any discussion about this 5-minute rule, or is this still in play?
Still in place?
So basically, everyone is in agreement in censoring public.
We're not censoring the public.
It is censoring the public.
Is it?
But anyway, forget about that. I was hoping the chief was here.
Tim, did you know how the vote went? You're asking if everyone on the board?
Is in
In
agreement
agreement?
with keeping that 5-minute rule for public comments.
So,
It's 4-1.
it was 4-1.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I know there was some disagreement, but as far as
I wasn't
the rest of the board is agreement.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, okay, so three to 1, 3 to 2, whatever you call it, so thank you for the censorship. But I was hoping the chief would be here today, because I really was hoping to ask him. Tommy raised an issue as far as, trucks parking in parking lots, in Home Depot, whole area. Who controls what? I raised this at the village. Meeting 2. In between, just exactly was Kentucky Fried Chicken and what is that, Chili's? That whole parking lot. I mean, you got, whether it's homeless or whatever, there's people camped out there. It was during the warm week, and no big deal. It's cold out there. who's gonna check, you know, are these people okay? You know, the people park there, whatever, you know what, they're in their cars. But who is actually going around checking? Because in all honesty, it becomes the same issue. You know what, me and you next to each other, that little divider, who's taking care of that? You or me? I'm gonna assume you do, you're gonna assume I do, so basically, Monroe PD and Woodbury PD are each gonna assume. Who's
Monroe
checking
doesn't
this out?
have the town of Monroe does not have a PD department.
Okay, so,
Only the village, and most of that, development there is in the town of Monroe. I was on the planning board when that was, there's a very little strip of the parking lot and a Walmart that's in Woodbury.
okay,
But
so,
the majority is, so you really should go to the town of Monroe.
so it's Monroe, it's gonna,
It's Monroe's
Monroe is gonna-
responsibility, and they would have to call state police.
okay,
So
Yeah,
Jim,
because the town of Monroe has no police department.
so I'm glad that Tyler brought that up, so, and also, after that meeting that Tommy brought up, the chief did speak with him and told him, gave him, you know, a little bit of an understanding of how they work, how they collectively share and work together with state police, Monroe Police Department, Harriman, and Woodbury. But you could take it, I would, you know, rather than speak for the chief or.
yeah, no, I'm just curious,
Just so you
who is
know.
gonna make the rounds?
They have, discussed that within the police departments, so, but I would say to take it up with the chief, if you could call him, or let it come from him.
No, because basically, it's just.
I know what your
I
concern
mean,
is.
you know, it's-
I think you really
Yeah.
should take it to the town of Monroe, cause, you know, I was under the assumption there wasn't supposed to be any of that when we approved that stuff. There
So, no,
was
but you just said, wait, the town of Monroe has no police department?
no police
State police
It's a
contract.
village of Monroe.
So, there's no, there's,
The village of Monroe has a robust police department.
okay, so
Once
who's
you
in
get
charge
outside-
of that area? The
Town
town
of
of,
Monroe.
So the state police.
So the state police would have to do any policing in that.
but do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The difficulty is just, I come from the city, I know how quickly it turns bad. You know what? I was surprised, you know, I
Well, that's
see
been
them in
going
Monroe.
on for several years, so it's not anything.
Yeah, no, but it's just like,
No, I
who
know.
is, like, just say, I commend the people who, with the animal shelters, there's so many animal shelters, so much fundraising going on. But who's raising, you know, there's this fundraising for the food pantries, but is there a homeless shelter in Woodbury? Or, I'm not advocating for one, but I was just curious, like, who's, you know, where do people go?
County, Orange County, Department of Social Services would take care of that,
Okay.
would be referred.
But once again, you know, to the public, whoever's watching, go out and vote. I mean, every vote counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, back row, anyone from the public in the back row?
Go ahead, you're closer.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
Teresa Luongo, Central Valley. I just want to remind everyone that We Are Woodbury is having a senior tea party on Sunday, November 12th, from 12 to 4 at Rushmore Estate. So it's open to any Woodbury senior that wants to attend, and they can contact either myself or Lisa through We Are Woodbury. There's also a flyer with our numbers on it, so anyone that's interested or knows someone, just pass it along. Thank you.
Anyone else?
As a former member, chairperson of the town and village planning board, just to let you know, I was on the planning board, and the way it works, if you stand where, what the heck, Panera Bread is, Panera Bread. Woodbury owns Panera Bread all the way down. We have 5 parcels, which is Panera Bread, Kentucky, Chili's, the Little Mall, and also TJ Maxx. If you stand in the parking lot, the corner of the parking lot, that's the road that separates from Panera to Home Depot, you stand there, you go straight line down. all the way to the garden center. Over is Monroe, the rest is Woodbury. When Woodbury did their approvals, and it was Sheila Conroy who was on the board at the time, it was stated in our resolutions, no overnight parking in the Woodbury section. We've been pretty good about that. So I just want you to know, Woodbury owns the 5 parcels from the corner all the way down to the corner of the garden center. We own a lot of the parking lot. Home Depot is over that way. They get the buildings, we get the parking lot, for the most part, just to be clarified. So I was on the board, so I know what we had to approve for Woodbury. This is not to get defensive with Councilmember Luciani, but you made a comment at your statement at the councilmember comments. And I just want to correct the statement that was made by you, that the town of Woodbury and the village of Woodbury are not working together, which including the beautification committee. If the board members, council members, excuse me, had seen the August 3rd beautification minutes, Mayor Giacomazza was in attendance at our meeting. There were 5 items put in there. One was Summit Avenue Archway and Winter Vista Circle. Clearly stated, working with beautification and the village of Woodbury. To say that they are not working with us, I've been speaking with June, July, with the mayor and the supervisor, and they know darn well beautification is working together with both the town and the village. And I took offense at that at the October 19th meeting, because I couldn't make a comment, because it was after public participation. But I want the community to be aware. Beautification is alive and well. We have the support of the town supervisor and the mayor of the village. And we just had a meeting tonight, and some serious questions and thoughts were put out for what the beautification committee is going to do. And I happen, which is a sad state of affairs, everyone knows I foil things. I foiled to get emails that were sent to the village board members and communicated with members of We Are Woodbury. And let me tell you, I can blow 2 of you out of the water and let people know how bad you are to me, personally, putting my name in that email without having the decency to talk to me. And if you know who you are, it's both the president of We Are Woodbury, which is Kate, and the vice president, who's Teresa. Shame on both of you. Be adults and stop it already.
Anyone else in the back row? You are?
And I am Andrew Giacomazza, Mayor for the Village of Woodbury. How is everybody this evening? Anyway, as you may or may not know, the building department currently is closed. We are in the process of moving into the building department. Tim Finnegan will have his own office, which he already plans on turning into the 2nd location for Finnegan's Pub, right? I just want to take a moment. One, we should be back open and operational by Monday, but I do want to take a moment to thank Joey Gianzero, Supervisor Tommy Burke, and the building and grounds guys who have helped expedite this and get us ready to be online rather quickly. So we do not have a name for the building department building, but for right now it'll just be the building and code enforcement building for a while. So in the meantime, also I wanted to point out the work that was done. Route 32 will no longer be a passing. We will no longer be able to pass cars on Route 32. So the supervisor and I, with both boards, wrote to the county, wrote to the state, and they responded rather quickly, which is unusual for them, but it will be going into effect, so I want to let everyone know. Joe McKay, you will be getting a red line version of the cannabis law, which could be, I know, we went back and forth with it.
That's so funny.
Just letting you know because you're part of it, but you'll be receiving that probably, well, it should be going online next week, okay? So, that's really all I had. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I do.
Yes.
I just wanna say that I'm glad you brought up the new building code, building for, since I've been here, when you compare what the village does for the town, there's no comparison. So it's always, Joe and Jean's there, and everybody says this, and it's gotta be a way we can give back. And I try to work with there's no way to compare. But, to allow, to have Will McLennan and some of the building grounds go over there with Joe and to help
And with Bobby.
and with Bobby Blair. So, I'm just glad that we were able to help in a small little way because it's I don't wanna speak to the building, Tim can do that because it's his office, but, it's a way to see we're putting it to good use and we're able to help in just a small way.
I think it's gonna enhance that neighborhood. I was able to see the new building across the street that they're renovating into an art studio and apartment. So that little corridor there is gonna be some vast improvements. The driveway will look the way it looks now till the spring, because there's no way we could do anything with that. But we will address that in the springtime, but yeah, we're not keeping track of, we did this for you guys did this for us. I am just happy that Bobby made a call and, like I said, Will McLennan was a beast.
And also, not to cut you off, but the with the parkland fees that we've been working together with now, to see the project, and we've had community members come up and wanna, with interest in Brickley Field, and the place, that area that's there, there's a total need of renovation. The plan moving forward is to just really redo that and that whole section there. It's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, I think so.
In the short term, and it's deserving of it because there's plenty of action there. There's a lot of, children, mothers with their small kids that wanna use that park.
I think it's underutilized. That
Yeah.
particular field, that particular park is just not utilized enough. But I am sure there's a plan in place. I know there's a plan in place because we had a work session about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in the new year with that.
I'd like to see the baseball field redone down there too.
Yeah, yeah.
My brother hit a couple of home runs. I only hit ground with double. So I need to bring the fence in a little bit.
Just lastly, on a final note, there should be news coming out shortly on the Lake Wine closing date and whatnot. Yeah, I turned mine off. So there should be news with that. The new ownership is going to be Spirit Labs. They've got all their funding in place. The only thing holding it up was just the closing date to be set. That should be set probably next week. So it'll be interesting to see how that whole thing progresses, but it'll be a good thing for this community. So otherwise,
What about the restaurant down on,
so we're working on that. And you probably have more conforming, non-conforming, is hellish. What happened with that particular building was the use expired.
where is the location?
It's the Savory Grill. So you have Who's is looking to go in there, but he didn't do any of his research before going in there because it's expired. So we are going to be addressing that at the next meeting. In that particular district, restaurants are not allowed. We are gonna basically add that to that district, which will allow him to open as a restaurant. That'll fix that problem. And actually, as you move down Route 32, it should bubble into other areas. I think one of the parcels is right by Fort Knox. That could be now a restaurant spot or anything food related. So that'll fix that, and that should be approved at our meeting next week. So, okay, I don't know how many local laws, 3? 3? Schedule a public hearing. Okay. You won't be there, yes, I know. I've already got, the cabinet all set for you. Anyway, thank you very much.
In response to Maria's comments about emails, I have the emails, I gladly will show the public, anybody can reach out to me, we have nothing to hide. I also have other things too that could blow a lot of people out of the room too. Even maybe arrest records.
West Records? Not me, honey. They're not running.
I mean, we had, I don't understand why someone would stand up and make a comment like that at arrest records. I mean, we, as a board, which I did not go for with the 5-minute rule, there was a reason why there were 4 board members, I'm not gonna speak for them, but they said that they wanted a limit on people to speak on, in a.
Stop including me in that, please. I wasn't here for the vote.
Okay, the 3 members of the board that were here. And you haven't made yourself, and you haven't made it, yourself heard either on how you felt about it.
No one here has
I
spoken
have-
under, no one here has spoken under 5 minutes. We have not limited anybody, we have not said anything, so I really don't have a problem with it.
What I'm saying to you is that to bring up some of the, about an arrest record and to just sit down, I find that very inappropriate. But does anybody else want to get back, anybody else? Joe, you're up.
This is not in any particular order, because I just wrote some stuff down. We had our Halloween at the park on Saturday, we had trunk or treat on Tuesday. Names I can't, just anybody who was involved, thank you very much. Our Halloween at the park, we blew it out of the water, it was fantastic. I'm sure you saw pictures and everything, trunk or treat was great, so I want to thank anybody who was involved, because I'll forget somebody and that's not good, so. There was an email sent out, the bathrooms at the res are closed down now for the winter, so they don't freeze up and break and everything. Update on Century Park. I talked to, the contractor yesterday, it looks like we're gonna have some nice weather, and he definitely wants to get that pour and play done. And he said if he has to work Saturday, they're gonna work Saturday. He has no problem, because you know, when weather breaks, they don't work, so any day they can get in. So figure the pour and play should get done. We have to keep it closed for about a week, and then he's gonna come back next week and put the tables in on the other side. So probably if everything worked out, we'll probably open it up next Saturday, if everything works out. Just wanna give you an update on the roof, for the bathrooms. We did get 3 bids, and I think Desiree's gonna put it on the agenda for the next meeting. They did have a low bid to take the asbestos off. We're still getting bids to put the roof back on. So I just wanna give you that update. FEMA, we've been meeting FEMA every week. This is my first time doing it, there's a lot of paperwork. Man, there's a lot of meetings, a lot of paperwork, a lot of everything. So, but that's going on very, very nicely. We did have a nice big meeting with the guy, and he took a lot of information down, so I think that's starting to progress a little bit. The wall at Victory Park, I don't know if anybody went by, saw the guy power washing it, so that should be done probably early next week. It's a very slow process to mortar everything, put everything back together again, so that's gonna be a project that's gonna get done. The bathroom at the pool, Vinny will be down there this week coming to tile the rest of the 2 bathrooms. So that project will be taken care of, so that's another thing. We have 2 Eagle Scout projects. One, there'll be an email sent out tomorrow, he'll be at the dog park on Saturday, finishing up. I told him I can't close the dog park, but I'm gonna just ask people to just respect the kid, whatever he's doing. And another Eagle Scout's gonna do, pictures of all the animals that are around the reservoir. So there's gonna be, 2 projects that'll be going on at the same time. And we talked about the drainage at the pool. And we took some of the stuff that we had, decorations, and we decorated some of the stuff around town, if everybody drives around. You'll see mums out and stuff like that, so. Anybody, anything? Good?
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Beautification?
Yep. Why not? Go for it.
Go for it, beautification? Yeah. As I stated earlier, we had a beautification meeting tonight, which is always published on the town website, but we never get any residents to come visit us. We had 5 members of us were in attendance with our department head Joe. Some serious discussions were held tonight, in cooperation with the town and the village highway department. Thank you, Rob, and all your help with the gentlemen. They went around, they counted how many electrical sites are on the poles. They will be putting up the 10 additional brackets and racks that we need. So there's 14 because we lost 4 to zombie poles. It's a good thing I have some extras, so they'll take care of that. So thank you to the village of Woodbury for allowing the highway to work with the beautification committee. So that was one thing that we took care of. There will be a flyer coming out with events that we have planned for December 2nd, 9th, and 16th. There's events that we talked about tonight. We have to just finalize those events. The flyer will be coming forthwith to let people of Woodbury know what is happening, so everyone has something to do 3 weeks in a row with the holidays. And we're looking, once again, with the highway department, the week after Thanksgiving, the pole decorations should be up. So we're looking at all that, so we're moving and grooving with all that. And thank you for Joe for getting the bids that he did, for the wall at, Victory Park. That was a big thing that we had to take care of for safety, so I think that was it. Was that all we talked about tonight, Joe? Yeah,
Thank you, Maria.
you're welcome.
Okay. To the departments and board, anybody? All right, we'll move on to Lorelei. No, good, okay. We'll start with Brandon.
All right, as always, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'm gonna wrap up the Polar Plunge until next year. It was a very successful event, surpassing previous Orange County Special Olympics fundraising efforts by $10,000. The total raise was $28,000. So a big thank you to everyone that donated, fundraised, and plunged, including our very own fire department and members of the Woodbury Police Department. So thank you for that. And although it's a week early, I'd like to thank all our veterans. With Veterans Day around the corner, it's important that we recognize the sacrifices the men and women of our armed forces make. So let me be the first to thank Town Councilman Tim Finnegan for his service to this country. Thank you, Tim. And I'll leave it at that for tonight. Thank you.
Touching on Veterans Day, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff going on around the county. If you guys can, make it out there, they're always good events. Weather's changing, leaves are falling, snow's gonna be falling soon, you start safe. And one thing I brought up a few meetings ago, but we really haven't touched on since, was the library. If we could have a meeting with them, kind of see what they wanna do for a lease. Yeah, we talk a lot about grants lately, we're talking about getting them a lease for that, so we're impeding their ability to grant, so maybe something we can have a case to look into.
Would this be a grant for the Highland, the town-owned building? For grants for the town-owned building? Or is this for
They
grants
need a
for the
lease
center?
to be able to, for our building, they need a lease for our building to search.
Okay.
That's all I have, thank you for coming.
Kate.
I wanna thank everybody for coming out. I also, like Teresa said, we have many emails, anybody who wants to see them, I have no problem printing them out, you don't have to foil them, they're right there, there's nothing horrible said. We requested, as we are Woodbury, not me as a town board member, to be put on the agenda for the village board in August, right? The Christmas tree lighting, and got no response. Then we were asked to speak with the beautification committee, we sent Maria a message and didn't hear back, and I understand, like, it was at the last minute, but we didn't realize we had to go that route. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with everybody, it's a shame what's happening. This is my 3rd year in a row running, and every year it doesn't get easier, the personal attacks, the things people wanna say, it's disgusting. My family's been attacked, me owning my own home, my kids, it's horrible. It takes a lot for a person to step up for their community and to run. I got involved because of my community group, and I didn't want to run because of it, but I have friends who I thought were friends at the time that told me to get involved, and I did, and those people changed. People want to say things all over Facebook that certain people have vendettas. I have no vendettas. I'm the only person that's not doing anything back to other people. John Kelman decided he wanted to run, and he's a great man. A lot of people know he's homegrown here in Woodbury, and he has every right, just like Tyler has every right, to run for any position that they want. This is the United States of America. We all have the right to stand up and run for whatever we want and do whatever we want. And for people to sit there and judge people and say that it's for certain reasons, then shame on them. But I want to applaud every person that runs, and I want to wish them the best of luck. You know, Bob, I wish you the best of luck, and Denise, you know, Tyler, everybody that's running, Brandon, Teresa. When you step up, you put yourself out there, and people think it's okay to treat me like a punching bag, and it's not okay. You know, we have a right to stand up for our community. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but it's just very hard to go 3 years in a row with this. And it's, again, once again, like I said, it is a shame because, you know, this is why good people don't get involved, because it gets ugly. You know, but this is exactly why good people should get involved, because we teach our kids not to deal with bullies. And, you know, if any of us run away, then we're the cowards. And I won't run away, and I won't have somebody chase me away. So they can keep saying what they want to say, it doesn't matter. So, thank you. And once again, good luck to everybody on election day, and I hope Desiree is going to tell us where we go vote.
I'd like to thank Brandon. I went to the polar plunge, and it looked to me like it was a huge success. I wouldn't go in the water, but good for him. And Tim went in. And so did some of our police department, fire department. Was there ambulance going? They just stayed there to rest.
We were on the floor.
But it was a lovely event, and Brandon, thank you for putting that together. I know probably quite a bit of work.
A lot of people involved, group
Yeah.
effort.
And thank you for all the other events that you've done. And I just want to tell everybody, get out to vote. I know some of you don't care for me or care for somebody, but get out and vote. That's the most important thing. Make your voices heard. Thank you.
I do have a couple of things to say this evening, since this will be probably my last meeting for the rest of the year. Because I'm going out on medical leave, in case you didn't hear. So, election is on Tuesday. You will be voting at either the Central Valley Firehouse, the Senior Center, or the St. Patrick's Church, the gymnasium. So if you voted there before, that's where you'll be voting again. If you don't know where you vote, you can either call my office or call the Board of Elections, or on the Board of Elections website, there is a voter lookup link. The town clerk's office now has a Facebook page, and we also put it on the Facebook page as well. My deputy, Nicole Young, is managing the Facebook page, and we are listing garage sales when they are being held, so that's another advantage for obeying the law and getting your garage sale license. You'll get posted on our Facebook page. It is still young, just started, I believe, a week ago, so bear with us while we navigate how to do a Facebook page. We're not as good at it as some individuals in the community are. I can't believe I'm the first one saying it. I'm sure the supervisor was going to, but I just can't believe I'm the first one to thank Lorelei for a great job you did on the budget. I thought that would have been, but I'll say it for everybody, I guess. So yeah, I said that. I did say you didn't go yet. I didn't yell at Maria.
She raised her voice.
I raised, well, apparently my brain's not working so great. So yeah, election is next week. I made a little comment at the village board meeting, so I guess I should say it here too. A lot of people ask me who to vote for. I've lived in this town 49 years, which is how old I am, and worked for the town for 26 years, 27 years. And I never tell anybody who to vote for because I have to work with everybody, and I like working with everybody, and I enjoy working with everybody. But I just do urge everybody to do their homework, look to see who's at meetings, look to see who is out there in the community doing their thing. We do have candidates that are running that haven't even been to a meeting, so that kind of makes me concerned. It's always been a concern of mine that you run for election and don't come to meetings. So it's nice to see those that are running here today. So that's all I ask that you do, is just do your homework, and I always hear make Woodbury the place we move to, but how about making Woodbury the place I grew up in?
All right.
And good luck to my staff while I'm not here. And I wish everybody the best of luck in their election campaign.
All right, so I have a few announcements. First, I'm gonna start with Lorelei also. Lorelei, you've been here, since for months now when we first started with the department heads and, you know, you and I have met with everyone and, you're a very patient lady and we went line by line numerous times, with each department and, you know, they came in, everyone tried their best to stay within the budget and when there were some questions they came in, we worked it out a little bit and couldn't have been done without you.
Thank you.
Very lucky to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything.
Well, could you just remind me? I believe we stayed under the cap, correct?
We stay under the cap.
Okay, so at the next meeting, we'll introduce a local law to repeal the local law to go over the tax cap.
We're under the cap by approximately $29,715.
I just wanna get paperwork going before I leave, so I'll put that together before we go, so we can schedule a hearing next meeting to be held at December.
I'd also like to make, one quick announcement, tomorrow, November 3rd, Saturday, November 4th, and Sunday, November 5th, there is early voting for anyone that is interested in it in the city of Middletown, Newburgh, Port Jervis, towns of Goshen, Montgomery, Monroe, over at the Monroe Town Hall, New Windsor, and Warwick. So just so you know, there's still 3 more days of early voting. I have a small report I'd like to give from the accounting department, which I think needs to be said tonight because Eileen Sullivan does a great job with us. For the month of October, we were able to have, with our investments, which are so important to us now, especially with the year coming to an end with our budget, we had a 5.26% on our money. So with that, for the month, just for the month of October, in our A fund, the general fund, we were able, our income was up $15,080.38. The police services went up $8,696. The refuse went up $1,351. The business improvement district went up $1,118. You know, which was good because I have been investing for the library because I am the treasurer this year with them unless something changes. That's we still are, and I still am. And the beginning balance for this month in their library fund was $744,000, and the ending balance for this month, because they use it on a monthly basis, is $702,735. But with the interest that I have when I started moving their money for them, their income this month was $3,135. So for the total for the town, with our interest for the month of October was $29,382.41. So that needed to be said today because you know, every little bit helps, especially with this budget. So Laura, thank you again. All right, so that's all I have for tonight. So I want to give it.
Do you have something?
Does Joe? No.
I don't think so.
I went by there today. Okay, so with that, I'll.
Yes.
Yeah, Desiree, on the tax cap repeal local law, is that a problem with Nicole? So just copy me on whatever you give to her, she'll reach out to me.
Right, and also, before I take a motion, I just want to wish everyone, like I did 2 years ago, wish everyone the best of luck in the upcoming election, everyone that chose is out, put themselves out there to run. So it'll be a fun weekend, and best of luck. All right, so with that, I'll take a motion and a second to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay.